Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today, wherever you are in this great world. We're going to talk about XRP, but I had to start with this: digital wallets. I recently had my card skimmed at a gas pump, and somebody used it to make all kinds of purchases. They bought luggage. I guess they're planning a trip. But I had to call the bank to get a new debit card. And I was talking to the bank representative, and I said, this keeps happening. This is the second time in like a year and a half. I said, is there any plan going forward? And I was actually shocked at what the bank rep said. He said over the next 12 months, they plan to make a transition into a digital wallet. It's going to be in the form of an app that I'm going to download on my phone. And I was very shocked by that because I honestly thought the banks were lagging behind the rest of the world. But apparently the banks are also pushing into the digital age. I wonder how many other banks are going in that direction. I use Fidelity. So this comes from Mr. Man. Revolut weighs in on UK wanting KYC for any purchases made in the financial ecosystem using crypto. Anonymous no more. For as long as you've been in crypto, people have told you you could make purchases that nobody will ever know that you're making using crypto, using Bitcoin specifically. That was always big among Bitcoin maxis. But now we're watching the beginning of regulations getting put in place all around the world. And what's the first thing that they talk about? Anti-money laundering. Know your customer. Everyone is going to be required to do this. And the UK is now fast-tracking regulations with the EU. They're going to be very similar regulations. Same thing is going to happen here in the US as well. Ripple, XRP, and central banks. We're working with many of them. They're mostly under non-disclosure agreements, like we've been saying all along. But people keep saying those NDAs are all bullshit. Take a listen to this from James Wallace.
Which central banks in which countries are you working on?
We're working with many of them. They're mostly under non-disclosure agreements.
So there you have it. And they've been telling us this all along. Ripple has been very open about the non-disclosure agreements. I just cannot wait until the big announcements come out and we find out who those agreements are with. This comes from Smoke. In 2024, we will have initiatives by the EU, India, Brazil, Mexico, Hong Kong, UAE, and Thailand to offer an alternative to SWIFT. Retail banks will have to update their technology to process CBDC transactions at scale. It is happening this year. And all these countries, they seem to be moving away from SWIFT. And people act like, the banks aren't going to push in a better direction if there's a better direction available. If the bank starts utilizing RippleNet and XRP, they're going to get the upper hand on the other banks. Those other banks will then have to use RippleNet and XRP just to compete with that original bank. And I think that's what we're going to see happen over time. More and more business leaving SWIFT. Enbridge is partnered with R3 and Accenture, both Ripple partners. Not sure how others haven't ever noticed XRP is the chosen one. Ripple's tech has been tested and trialed for years. The banks are going to make their own system. They are bankers, but they need a safe and foolproof system for their money. Remember, people always said the banks are just going to come up with their own system. That's not what they do. They rely on tech companies like Ripple to come up with a system that works for the banks. It makes payments fast, cheap, and secure. And we are already headed in this direction. And you know, a lot of people said, oh, the Brics are going to use Enbridge, but they're not going to utilize XRP. Well, now you see Enbridge is partnered with R3 and Accenture, both Ripple partners. Tether faces renewed terror and illicit finance allegations. Now, some of you asked me who put up that billboard. It was a nonprofit firm, Consumers Research, launched a campaign to show Tether's links to terrorist organizations and human trafficking groups, alongside the Chinese and Russian governments. So that's who put up that big billboard. It was Consumers Research. And you know, people ask me how big that crash will be when it happens. Let me tell you something. When Tether collapses out, and it is definitely coming, I mean, even the United States, there's no space for Tether inside the United States once regulations get here. It's going to be catastrophic in the crypto space. But I think that's going to happen by design. The same way I said FTX had to fall at that specific time for a reason. So all of a sudden, everybody gets on the ball and starts pushing towards crypto regulations. Same thing is going to happen with Tether. Tether's going to crash, and then they're going to say, we need a more secure system, a more secure stable coin. It will give Ripple the upper hand in the United States. Stablecoin regulations incoming. Take a listen to Dave McCormick about regulations.
We are in the next great wave of innovation with crypto and blockchain. And if America doesn't embrace it, we're going to be left behind. And by embracing it, we can create great jobs, a great source of innovation. I've lived through a number of waves of innovation, whether it was the PC and the internet, or whether it's some of the new developments around AI. This is one such wave that we need to embrace. And the national security implications of this are clear, which is that blockchain has very limited, and crypto very limited illicit activity, something like 0.345% of the transactions. But it gives a roadmap for national security officials and prosecutors to zero in on illicit activity. So the national security and legal experts I talk to think that it offers a real source of eliminating, not increasing illicit activity. And so for all those reasons, and important to Pennsylvania, a job creation engine for Pennsylvania, I've embraced this and encouraged lawmakers to lay out a regulatory framework that will allow innovation to continue.
So here comes your stablecoin regulations, and most likely crypto regulations as well. I think crypto regulations are going to follow stablecoin regulations at a very fast pace. It's because stablecoin regulations, it kind of clears the path, but it doesn't give a full path forward for crypto. That will come soon after. And take notice how he said that crypto actually cuts down on illicit activity. It was good to hear him say that as well. By the end of 2025, stablecoins will be legal electronic money almost everywhere. Awesome forecast by Circle CEO. Jeremy Allaire from Circle says, I'm more bullish than I've ever been about crypto. I've been building at Circle for over 11 years, and at no time have I ever been more optimistic than right now. You know, you all ask me, how the hell do you stay positive every single day, even if it's a red day for crypto? It's because I see it coming together. I see what's coming next. You know, there was a time you had to have vision for it. It's now being put right in front of you. It shows you where XRP is going to be in the very near future. I even think Tether crashing out and collapsing out is going to be a better path forward for these utility-driven cryptocurrencies as well. But let's get back to Tether for 1 second. So you see how it works. Japan, US bonds, USDT, and Bitcoin. Dominoes are falling, musical chairs, music stopping, Humpty Dumpty is falling. Choose your favorite metaphor. You know, it shows you. And the US bond market could have held Tether up forever. But the bond market is also falling apart at the same time. It's like one domino after another falling apart. That's why we will see Tether fall. Breaking news, Russia and North Korea signed partnership deal which could mark the strongest connection since the end of the Cold War. Both leaders described it as a major upgrade of their relations covering trade. North Korea joining Brics soon? And then Putin is going on to arrive in Vietnam to meet with the president over in Vietnam as well. You know, the Brics are aligning. They're coming together, and they're at a very fast pace. They're putting all their differences aside, and they're uniting to take down the US dollar. But nobody in this country wants to talk about it. So Korea to trial digital vouchers based on CBDC-based deposit tokens. And like I said, when a CBDC comes, it's going to tie in with government services first. So the central bank is developing a voucher program for use on smartphones, which can be used for welfare, culture, education, and other services. Today, most vouchers are based on paper or plastic cards. They are also prone to fraud. Using a digital application aims to address fraud and make the settlement process far easier. Like I said, they're going to have a reason here in the United States as well to roll out a CBDC. I think it's coming quicker than we all think. I think it could possibly happen this year, even before the next election. Iran to open the digital real CBDC pilot program to the public this month. So it looks like Iran is pushing ahead with their CBDC as well. And you know, a lot of these countries were working on this prior to COVID even. I think that executive order that Trump signed when he was still in the White House, that put us on the path towards a CBDC already. But I think things were accelerating and they had to slow everything down. What's ironic is that the Ripple versus SEC trial happened. COVID happened all around the same time to slow everything down. Now everything is accelerating and we're getting there quicker than I even thought it would happen. But you know, when you look at this, all right, it shows you all the ties, the BIS, the IMF, the World Economic Forum, the World Bank, and all the projects that they're working on. This shows you where XRP is going. This shows you where QNT is going to be. XDC, XLM, HBAR's tied in with CBDCs now. Algorand. IOTA is going to play a very big role in the near future with the Internet of Things and the machine economy, because that's also going to accelerate as well. What I'm telling you is there's a handful of cryptocurrencies that have actual utility and use case. That's what's going to be tied into this. Anything that does not have utility or doesn't, you know, solve a problem, like fast, cheap, and secure payments, won't be part of this. And over time, we're going to watch how they regulate those cryptocurrencies out. Meme coins are going to disappear. I just seen somebody on X saying, I can't wait until the next cycle happens for meme coins. By the time we go into the next bull cycle, memes are already going to be long gone. We are going to go into a utility-driven market. And anybody that doesn't see it coming is going to get left behind. There's going to be people that sell these utility-driven cryptocurrencies way too soon, only to watch them go higher and higher in price as well. That's the future for XRP holders. We're going to be rich. You know, we're going to be able to break away from the CBDC system. There's going to be multiple parallel systems where people are transacting. I still think there's going to be one designed just for crypto. That would make sense. All these networks, they're going to have different parallel use cases at the same time. Some's going to still be tied to fiat. You know, even as we see central bank digital currencies go live in a couple of countries, you're still going to have paper money in the world. Paper money still has a couple of years to go, is what I'm thinking. But you know, until it all happens, you got to stay patient. stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.